Today I want to introduce you to something that I'm really excited about. Something really powerful and cool and useful. What I've been offering for a long time is, you could say, a type of consulting, a transformational process to get underneath the story. But now it's officially tech-assisted consulting, because I've launched the LUCID Film Studio software. And this software is quite profound in what it does. It's even helped me in my own screenwriting process, because it's not ordinary script coverage. It's not like running your script through ChatGPT. And it's not like anything you've used before as far as the quality of reflection it gives you. So there are a few parts to this. There are steps to bring yourself and your content into the process. So the first step is called the storycast. The storycast is free. It gives you your 3-digit code, which is your Enneagram tri-type, also called what I call the storytelling style. Everybody has one for their whole life, and never changes. So knowing your storytelling style gives you the blueprint for your blind spot. And it tells you straightforwardly on your report, here is your exact fixation, here's your exact belief, here's your exact blind spot that any screenplay you write is circling around and avoiding, and keeping you and your screenplays at a lower level. The higher levels are simply more awareness of one's blind spot. So that's exactly what the lucid levels are defining. So by learning your storytelling style, you get to see exactly what you need to watch for as you're writing, but also if you move forward in the next steps, it tells you exactly what together we can process and actually make fully conscious in the nervous system, in the body, not just as a mental construct. So the storycast gives you that, the storytelling style, but also gives you your current stage that you're at in your own personal story process of your life. It's like, what stage of maturity are you at? And then it does the same for your screenplay. And in some cases, some people's screenplays are ahead of them. Some people's screenplays are behind them. Some are the same. And the goal is for it to be the same, so that your movements, your decision making is accurately reflected in your screenplay. Because our goal here with lucid filmmaking is authenticity. If we can get into sync with our screenplay and then grow ourselves simultaneously with growing the screenplay and keep it in sync, it remains authentic, and that's how we can get a higher lucid score. The score ideal being level 4 potentially level 5, but we aim for level 4. And so the software outlines exactly what is needed. Then, if you go to the next step, after the storycast, you get the blind spot report. And instead of just telling you what level your screenplay is at, the blind spot report gives you a detailed explanation of what ways your blind spot shows up in your screenplay. So the storycast is free, and then the blind spot report is a paid step up. And then you get the information, you can process it, take the time you need, and I'll personally deliver that blind spot report to you to ensure its accuracy. And once you have the blind spot report, I'm also available for step 3, which is like a walkthrough. It's a guided explanation or guided walkthrough of the blind spot report, so that you have me to ask questions on what it means or how to understand it or how to see it. So that's the first opportunity for a live engagement. And then the fourth step is what I call the dreaming chamber. And this is the premium offering, which is either 5 or 8 weeks, depending on which one you choose. And this is where we actually address the blind spot. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about the software. So while you are in the dreaming chamber during those weeks with me, regardless of which dreaming chamber size length you're in, everyone who participates in the dreaming chamber gets access to 12 weeks of full access to the LUCID Film Studio software. And the reason I pair it with the consulting and I don't offer it by itself is because it's a very profound reflection on what needs to be addressed internally. So you've already found out your blind spot. You've already seen at this point how it shows up in your screenplay. And now the software is showing you exactly what can be done about it. And, I really believe in that old adage, if you teach someone to fish, you feed them for life. So the goal here is not just to give you the answers, but to reveal to you through the dreaming chamber process exactly what stopped you from coming to terms with those answers in the first place. This is hugely important because I don't want you to become dependent on me or the software, right? A lot of people have this codependent relationship with AI or with screenwriting notes. I always have to get an expert to review and see what I'm missing. It's not that that's a bad thing, but if you are not addressing the root issue that keeps you stuck, you're always going to be stuck, always trying to dig yourself out of a hole. So the point of this software and the tech-assisted consulting is to design a path for more self-awareness through the screenwriting process. That's why it's called LUCID Film Studio. You're becoming lucid to the blind spot, which otherwise prevents you from making a genius level film. So I hope that you will give the free Storycast a try, perhaps the blind spot report, and I certainly hope that you get to try out the full LUCID Film Studio software. A lot of care and intelligence has gone into this. I can make a whole other video about how the structures of this is what makes it different from using ChatGPT or feedback from someone else. It's the structures here that make it intentionally impossible to unsee your blind spot. And that's what I'm all about in this work. So that's the video about the software for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.